This is a summary of The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, one of the most transformative books of our time. It's not just a book, it's an awakening, a guide to freeing yourself from the constant noise of the mind and discover what it truly means to live fully, consciously, and peacefully in the present moment. From the very first page, Tolle invites you to pause, to step out of a rush of thoughts and look deeper. He says that most of us live imprisoned by our minds, constantly replaying the past or worrying about the future. We live as if the present moment were only a bridge between what happened and what's coming next. But this illusion, this endless mental chatter, is the very thing that keeps us from peace. According to Tolle, the mind is a tool, powerful, but dangerous when it takes control. The ego feeds on identification, on your story, your problems, your labels. It tells you that you are your job, your possessions, your successes, your failures. And yet, beneath all that noise, there's something deeper, a still, silent awareness watching it all. That's who you really are, not the voice in your head, but the one who notices the voice. He describes a moment in his own life when despair consumed him. He no longer wanted to live with himself. And then a realization struck him. If I can't live with myself, there must be two of me, the I and the self I can't live with. That thought shattered his identity, and in that emptiness, something new was born. Consciousness without thought. That night, his suffering ended, and the power of now began. The lesson is profound. Pain and suffering exist only in time, in the memory of the past or the fear of the future. But the present moment, this breath, this heartbeat, is untouched by suffering. When you bring your attention fully to the now, the burden of time dissolves. Anxiety disappears because you stop living through stories and start experiencing life directly. Tolle calls this state presence. It's the silent watcher within you, the consciousness that simply observes without judgment. When you're present, even ordinary things, the sound of rain, the feeling of air on your skin, become deeply alive. You realize that life isn't something happening later. It's happening now. The book doesn't just preach. It trains you to experience this truth. Tolle teaches simple but powerful practices. Observe your thoughts as they arise. Without following them, feel the energy of your inner body. Notice the gaps between thoughts. Each moment you stay aware, the grip of the ego weakens and the stillness grows. He explains that enlightenment is not something to achieve. It's already within you. You can't get there because you're already here. You only need to stop running away from the present moment. But the mind resists this truth. It thrives on problems and drama. It whispers, I'll be happy when I get the job, when I meet the right person, when I fix my life. And so we postpone living. We chase peace in the future, but peace can only be found now. Tolle reminds us that life will always unfold in the present moment, and nothing has ever happened outside of it. Your entire life story, every memory and dream, exists only as thoughts now. The only real life is the one you're living in this instant. He compares the mind to a stormy sky, full of restless clouds, and awareness of the open sky itself. When you recognize yourself as the sky, not the clouds, the storms no longer control you. You still experience emotions, pain, and challenges, but you're no longer lost in them. You become the witness, the space in which everything happens. The power of this awareness changes everything. When you're present, relationships deepen because you actually listen. Work becomes effortless because your focus sharpens. Creativity flows naturally because you're not trapped in self-doubt. And joy, real joy, arises from simply being. In the next part of this summary, we'll go deeper into how Tolle explains the relationship between ego, pain, and awakening, and how you can use presence to transform every challenge into a doorway to peace. In The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle goes beyond theory. He explores how our attachment to the ego, the mind-made identity, keeps us trapped in endless suffering. The ego survives by resisting what is, by fighting reality, by constantly saying, this moment is not enough. And so, it creates inner conflict. You argue with life itself. But life, as Tolle reminds us, is never somewhere else. It's always here. He calls this resistance the pain body, the emotional energy accumulated from past experiences. It feeds on negative emotions, on drama, on the need to be right. When someone triggers you and anger or sadness takes over, that's your pain body rising to feed. And every time you identify with it, it grows stronger. But when you become aware of it, when you watch the emotion without judgment, the pain body can no longer control you. Awareness is its death. Tolle explains that this is the essence of transformation. You don't fight darkness, you bring light to it. You don't suppress pain, you become aware of it. And in that awareness, the illusion dissolves. What's left is peace, presence, and clarity. He reminds us that spirituality doesn't mean escaping the world. It means seeing the world clearly, without the filters of ego. Whether you're washing dishes, driving, or speaking to someone, every action becomes sacred when done with awareness. Presence turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. He also talked about the illusion of time, how the mind constantly pulls us into clock time. We think life is a line from past to future, but in truth, it's a continuous unfolding of now. When you fully realize this, a quiet joy begins to arise, not because life became perfect, but because you stop waiting for perfection. Tolle gives simple gateways to presence. Listening to the silence beneath sounds, feeling your breath, watching your thoughts as if you were watching clouds drift across the sky. Each small moment of awareness weakens the mind's control and connects you to something timeless within. And from that inner stillness, a new kind of doing emerges, not driven by fear or ambition, but by alignment with life itself. You start to act effortlessly, guided by intuition rather than compulsion. You realize that peace and effectiveness are not opposites. They are one and the same. In relationships, this awareness changes everything. When you're present, you no longer look to others to complete you. You share from wholeness instead of need. You stop trying to fix or control people and begin to truly see them, beyond their behavior, beyond their pain. Real love, Tolle says, is not a feeling that comes and goes. It's the recognition of oneness beneath the surface of differences. The book also touches on death and fear, subjects that most people avoid. But Tolle views death not as an end, but as a return to the formless essence that has always been here. When you live fully in the now, death loses its sting, because you realize that what you truly are cannot die. The body, the story, the identity, all of it is temporary. But awareness, the consciousness behind it all, is eternal. He says that awakening doesn't happen through effort, but through surrender, not by adding more knowledge, but by letting go of everything that isn't you. When you stop trying to become something and simply rest in being, the power of life flows through you effortlessly. And that's the secret of the power of now. The more you live in the present, the lighter you become. You start to notice beauty everywhere, not because the world changed, but because you did. Your perception clears, and peace becomes your natural state. You understand that happiness was never in things, achievements, or other people. It was always here, in the simple awareness of this moment. Tolle closes his message with an invitation to practice presence not as a task, but as a way of living, to make the now your home. Because in truth, that's where life always happens. So take a breath, look around, feel the air entering your lungs, the stillness between sounds, the simple fact that you are here. That's the power of now. It's not in the words, not in the ideas, but in the experience of this moment itself. And if this message moved you, if it helped you see life a little more clearly, remember, this is only the beginning. Awakening starts now. Subscribe for more book breakdowns and cinematic summaries like this one, and take another step on your journey to a more conscious, peaceful, and powerful life.